All right, you guys. How's everyone's doing? Happy Sunday. We're back with another what's a subscriber first wholesale deal interview. I think this is number 7 or number 8. I'm not exactly sure, but if you guys missed the 1 to 7 or whatever like that, make sure to check it out. And I want to let you guys know that I truly enjoy and love these kind of interview. And so I'm going to have our guest share with you how he made a little bit over 5,000 in 7 days. And this is his first wholesale deal check. And the reason for this interview, you guys, is to motivate and inspire those of you who haven't done one to go get it done, and letting you guys know that it is possible and it's possible for everybody. So let me bring on my guest. Let him share with you guys his stories, and also too his kind of breaking down the deals, how he found the deals, how he found the buyers, and how everything went. All right. So let's help me welcome Peter Brutus from New Jersey. How's it going, buddy?
Doing good, doing good. How are you?
Very, very good, man. So let's get you. Let's get it going. And first off, is could you share with everybody kind of your background and your stories, and how and kind of where you're at, and how do you transition into wholesaling?
Okay, well, Peter Brutus. My background is in sales and marketing. You know, I've sold basically everything. I've done door-to-door sales. I've done automotive sales. I've done, you name it. I've done everything sales. So I'm a pretty good closer. And so I've always been wanting to get into real estate. I just never got into it. But this year in January, I decided I'm going to try this wholesale thing, but I'm going to try it my way. And I closed the deal and it came through.
Nice. So, so Peter, so you said that you were in marketing, kind of before that, right?
Right.
So, so could you share with everybody kind of like what was your situation, and why didn't you continue doing your marketing and then instead looking into wholesaling?
Well, I still do. Like, you know, I have a passion for day trading. So day trading was one of my main things. I still do that now. Like in the mornings, I trade the opening bell from 9:30 to 11:30, and then after that, I have the rest of my day free. So that's why I wanted to start doing the real estate wholesaling, because the day trading doesn't take much time. It's between 9:30, the opening bell, 11:30, I'm done.
Oh wow, gotcha. Okay, that's pretty cool. So now let's talk about your first wholesale deal. So would you share with everybody kind of your first wholesale deal? How do you find the seller, etc., the time that you tied up into finding the buyers?
Okay, so this one, I didn't really want to spend any money. So I was trying, that's the main reason why I wanted to look into wholesaling. So, back in the day, I was taught it's always better to do sales management rather than doing sales. So what I did was I started doing marketing for people who wanted to learn how to wholesale deals, right? And so once I started doing marketing for that, a couple people started calling. They wanted to learn. I knew the basic concept of wholesaling. So what I wanted to do is teach as many people as I can the fundamentals of wholesaling, so they can go ahead and start doing marketing. So I found this one young lady. She came through. She came to me, wanted to learn the concept of wholesaling. I taught her the concept of wholesaling. Then she started doing her marketing, and it was through her that I found this deal. So basically, this deal, when she found me, she actually had the deal. This is a property that she was already going to purchase, but for some reason, she didn't have enough money to close on the deal. So she asked me if I could find a buyer for her. Once she asked me, can I help her find a buyer? That's when I just came in and did the second half of the deal. and we closed. I found a buyer within like 2 days. All I did was take the pictures that she already had. I first did the math to make sure it falls into the guideline. You know, I took the ARV minus 30% minus cost of rehab, and it fell in that category. And then from there, I just started marketing it on Craigslist, and then just marketing it on different websites. And within 2 days, because of the numbers, a lot of people started calling, a lot of people were emailing. 2 people went to see the property. The second one put it on, we had the second one put in an offer, and we closed within a week from there.
Gotcha. Wow. So now, I just want to take you back a little bit here, Peter. So you started looking into wholesaling in January?
Yeah, I've been looking at it for a while, but I decided I was going to do a deal. You know, when you have a New Year resolution,
yeah,
the New Year hits, you're like, okay, I'm going to start applying these methods and just start doing it. So in January, I started doing the marketing, and we closed the deal on January 20. We closed a deal on January 28th.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So you initially started like actually taking action and doing something in January, and then a close on it January 20th.
Correct.
Okay. Now my question is, when did you start learning about wholesaling?
Oh man, I've always been interested in wholesaling. So I've always like looked at YouTube videos and stuff like that. But I never took action. You know, I used to always look young. So I was always afraid of, these people won't take me seriously. And so I never took action. But, you know, the new year hit, and I was like, man, I got to do this.
Gotcha.
So I just started doing a lot of marketing all over Craigslist, a bunch of other websites, and that's how this young lady found me, through Craigslist. And nice. I sold the property through Craigslist. So it was funny. But this one kind of just fell in my lap. It just came out of nowhere, and it was already prepared, and it was already done. Everything was already done. The girl was supposed to close on the property at a certain date. She just didn't have the money to close. And so she was trying to find someone to flip it to before the closing date. Like, everything was already done. Everything was already prepared. Her attorney and everything was already prepared. So this one just kind of fell in my lap.
Gotcha. So Peter, so is it correct to say that this is kind of like a co-wholesale deal? Basically, she's the one that found the seller, tied the property up under contract at a certain price, and then now she somehow come in contact with you and said, "Hey, if you find a buyer for this property," do you guys initially split? So the assignment fee was to split in half.
We did. She had the property under contract for $260,000, so it was $260,000. When she asked me for help, I just started marketing the property for $280,000. You know, I did the numbers, and the comps in the area were around $475,000 and a little bit closer to $500,000. So I knew it fit in that number once I did the the math. So from there, I just started marketing it at $280,000. I got a bunch of offers at $270,000. We could have done it at $270,000, made it quick $10,000, but for some reason I felt that we had a little bit more time for the closing date. So I said let's keep marketing it until it gets closer to the closing date, not the marketing date. So I just told her, let's keep marketing it until it gets closer to the closing date. And sure enough, a couple guys who offered $270,000, one of them contacted me back and asked if I would do $275,000, but I wanted $280,000. So I kind of played the game and told him, look, I don't know if my partner would be happy with $275,000, but I knew it was a deal. And I mean, it's $15,000. So I went ahead and called my partner and told her, look, this guy is offering 275. We're gonna go ahead and take it, and he can close all cash. He can come to the table in a week. So I went, I played the game though, and made him feel like, we're taking a hit, because I told him I really wanted 280, and then finally he just came. He came through. He came through at 275. So it was a $15,000 deal. But me and my student actually, we ended up splitting the 15,000, and then there was some attorney fees for some reason. Then it ended up to be 5150.
Gotcha. Okay, so it comes out to a little bit over 10,000. You guys kind of split the difference, right?
Right, and she had already put out 4,700. She put out 4,700 because she was originally going to buy this property for herself. So because she had already put out 4,700, she asked me if I could split the difference with her. Me, I just went ahead and said, okay, I probably shouldn't have done that, but whatever. I was looking at the numbers, and I saw that we could make a good 20 grand. So even if I had to pay 2,000, that's not a big deal. So she had 4,700 into the property already. When she came to me, she asked me if I would split the difference with her. So that's where that difference came out of my portion, which was I think it was 20. The half of 4,700.
Right.
So I ended up having to cover half of that out of my portion of the deal. But me personally, I never put out a penny, So the deal came to me that way. So I just agreed to split her half that she had already put out. And then the end buyer came and closed everything out of the 1,500 minus the 47. And then we split the half of that, which became 5,150.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm thinking probably some of people might be confused. She said that she put 4,500 down. Is that the earnest money?
Yeah, she had it was a bank-owned property. It was an REO to begin with. It was an REO.
Oh, okay. So it's an REO. So it's not even coming from directly with the seller. It's actually from a bank-owned.
Right. It was an REO.
Okay.
And for REOs, you have to put down some form of a deposit.
Right. Yep.
And she had put down 4,700.
Okay. Got it.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
And then since she had money out of pocket, she asked me if I would split the difference with her. I went ahead and agreed to that. But the total deal was she had it under contract for 260. The contract was assignable. And so once we started doing the marketing, within 2 days, a buyer came through. He liked the property. He walked through. He liked it. And he made an offer at 275. 270, and then we kind of talked him up to 275, and then that was a $15,000 difference. So we took off the 4,700, and then we divided the rest by 2.
Gotcha. Okay, no, that makes sense. So basically, it's a bank-owned property. So typically, when you bid on a bank-owned property, you have to put up down an X amount of deposit money. In my knowledge, those deposit money is refundable. So I don't know if hers is not.
I don't think hers was refundable, and that was the urgency. The urgency was to close, because if she didn't close on a certain date, she would have lost her deposit.
Right. Correct. So basically, she has X amount of day that she needs to close on the property. So you're saying when she tied the property up under contract, her initial thoughts was that she wants to buy the property. Is that correct?
Right. She was supposed to close on the property, and it was a rehab deal. She wanted to do a rehab. It was her first rehab she wanted to do. But she ended up not. She couldn't close on the property, so that's how she found me, and she wanted to help me find her a rehabber or an end buyer, a cash buyer, and so that's where I came into the picture.
Right. So now, so let me see here. So Peter, so basically, so when she contacted you because she saw one of your ad on Craigslist, is that correct?
Right.
Okay, so she saw your ad on Craigslist, and probably everybody want to know is, what do you put in the ad?
Well, I just put learn how to wholesale properties, making 5,000 to 10,000 per month, and it was a generic ad that I've seen before several other places. And I just basically copied that ad and I posted it on Craigslist. And then that's how she contacted me. She wanted to learn the wholesale process. Me, I understood the wholesale process, even though I never, did a deal, but I understood A to B, B to C,
Right.
or you just put a deal under a contract, and then you find a rehabber and you assign the deal to them. So this one was an assignment deal. Like I already understood the concept, and for me, I just think differently. I didn't want to put out a bunch of money marketing. What I felt was if I did a lot of marketing and taught people the concept of wholesaling and teach them to each go buy 200 signs, if I could teach 5-6 people that same concept, I'd have a bunch of signs out there. And then I generated a lead sheet or a lead sheet offline. And I figured, okay, if they can just do marketing and fill out the lead sheet, I can do the numbers, and I'm very good at closing. I will close the deal. So I figured I'd teach a bunch of people how to go find deals and then bring them to me, and I'll close it, and we split the deal 50-50. I'm very confident in my closing. Like I said, I've been doing sales for a very long time. So I'm very confident in my closing abilities. So I knew if the numbers fit within the guidelines, it wasn't going to be hard for me to find a buyer. Gotcha.
Okay, so you guys, before I get back to the story, I do want to share you guys here is the I'm going to share my screen right now and showing you guys the check that Peter sent over, so you guys know that this is a legit deal. So there it is. So there's the check. But you guys, now I want to get back and I want to ask. I want to kind of break this down a little bit, Peter, because I am a little bit. So basically, you taught people how to wholesale. So now, do you charge people to teach them to wholesale so basically you haven't done a wholesale deal, but you know the concept. So you decide to teach them how to do it and have them spend their money to market, correct?
Exactly.
So my question for you is, do you charge people when you teach them?
Some people I do, some people I don't. It all depends, like, what their situation was.
Gotcha.
Like I've had some people come and they tell me they don't have any money. So I'm like, okay, this is what you do. You take this lead sheet, you fill it out from your marketing. You just put out a bunch of signs. Do you have $100 to order 100 signs? If they have $100 to order 100 signs, then I would tell them, okay, order those 100 signs, post them out everywhere. And I'll tell them key places to put them, like, like I watch a lot of the videos, and I basically knew, like, I'm very good at marketing. Like I've owned different businesses prior to this, so I understood marketing. And so I just taught them how to do marketing and how to fill out the lead sheet. Those are the only two things that I wanted them to learn. And then once they have a lead sheet filled out, they just bring that lead sheet to me or email it to me, and I'll do the numbers on it. If it fits within that guideline, then I would, if it fits in the 70% rule, then minus rehab, then I would take that and go find a rehabber. And that's basically, I already knew how the concept worked. It's not a hard concept. You just do the math. If it falls into the 30% minus rehab, and then you minus whatever fee you want to make, or even if it's close to that, I can find a person who would want to rehab it and make the full profit. In this case, it fell directly into the math. But yeah, she came in from wanting to learn how to wholesale. That's how she found me. And I basically brought her in, gave her the concept of wholesaling. I gave her a lead sheet. I have a lead sheet that I give to, some of the people who want to learn.
Sure.
All they do is once they get a phone call, they basically fill out the lead sheet, just gather the information, get the numbers, and then email it over to me. Once they email it over to me, I run the numbers, and then I search for comps. And if it fits in the guideline and the comps look good, I know I can close it. Like I'm more of a closer. That's why I wanted to do the back end. I kind of set it up like a business, and I wanted to do the back end of the business and let them do the front end of the business.
Gotcha. So basically, Peter, so at this time, do you have any, So basically, you probably wouldn't, just because you train people and they could come from any different states. So you probably don't have any cash buyer on your list. You're just basically based on you're confident knowing that you are a marketer, that you would be able to market the property if the price is right, that you should be able to market and find a buyer for that particular property. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. I mean, I've always believed that if it's a deal, there's going to be a ton of people. If it's not a deal, nobody's going to show up. So I figured if it is a deal, all we do is we market it. It costs nothing to put an ad on Craigslist. If people don't respond, then it's probably not a deal.
Gotcha.
And if it is a deal, there's going to be a flood of people, right?
Gotcha. So, Peter, on this deal, since it's an REO, did you guys have to come in with your own funds to close on it first, or
No. The contract itself was assignable?
Oh,
and
okay.
that was strange because I've never heard of an REO that's assignable, but that was one of the first questions I asked her, if the contract is assignable, and she went ahead and emailed me the contract, which I could email to you as well, and the contract said that it was assignable.
Interesting.
So from there, we were able to just start marketing it.
Gotcha. Okay. So so now basically, so let me see here. So Peter, did she so basically, since her name is on the agreement, so did she pay you outside of closing then?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So basically, she would have make whatever she makes on the deal, and then she would write you a check outside of closing.
Right.
And everybody probably want to know is that, do you have any, since you are co-wholesaling the deal, did you have any kind of paperwork with her as far as just to make sure you're getting paid?
We had an agreement that whatever we closed the property for, we would split it 50-50. And that was the agreement, minus whatever she had originally spent. We would split that 50-50, whatever she had already put out. Because she just was feeling like she put out too much money and she couldn't close. She felt like she was going to lose. So I went ahead and agreed to that. But our agreement was, okay, whatever you had put out, we'll split that 50-50. And whatever we take in, we split 50-50. That was the agreement. And I told her if she would agree to that, then I would go ahead and start marketing and find a buyer for the property. And within 2 days, we had the first guy. I know how to find buyers. This is one of the methods I use to find my buyers. If you go to the county assessor's website, and let's say, in this situation, this property was 21 Wall Street. So what I did was, if you go to the county assessor's website and you just type in Wall Street, right, and you do a search, there's going to be all the properties on that street will pop up. And then all you have to do is look for the LLCs. So all you have to do is look for the LLCs, which are corporations, and then you'll see some of the names. We buy houses. It's always some investment corporation that you're looking for. And then once you find that investment corporation, you can Google them, or you can easily find their, if it's a company, you can find the phone number. So our first caller, that's how I found him. But he ended up, offering $270. I didn't like the $270. I wanted to be a little bit closer to $280. And then the second buyer who actually bought the property, he was straight out of Craigslist. He found the pictures that I posted on Craigslist about the property, and it only took 2 people. The first one passed, the second one came through. But normally that's how I would find my buyers. I would just type in the property address in the assessor's website, and then whatever is LLC, I would contact them and say, hey, I see you own this property at whatever, right next door to this property. I was wondering if you're interested in buying this one. We're looking to move it very fast. So That's what I was doing as far as finding buyers and posting ads on Facebook.
Cool, man. I mean, that is a very clever way to do it. Now, as far as ARV for this property, what do you estimate? What do you estimate the ARV would be?
It was around 475.
Okay, and what was the rehab?
The rehab, she told me, was around 75,000.
Okay. And when you send the buyer out there, did the buyer agree with the rehab, or what did he say?
You know, this guy, he was another one. He was really difficult. And what happened is he bought a property in that area and he made some profits. So he wanted to do it again. And he was kind of like a first-time rehabber as well. Now, I'm a first-time wholesaler, and he was a first-time rehabber. He just happened to have done a deal like 5-6 months ago in that same location, and he made a nice profit. So he wanted to do the same thing again. He was really interested in the property. He just wouldn't give me a lot of information. And the deal was it was a short time, but within that short time, it was so hectic because, you know, an REO, listen to this, you know, with the REO deal, you have an attorney on this side, right? You have the attorney who's handling the REO. You have a realtor, a seller's realtor that has to be involved on this side. Then on this side, you have the seller. And then on this side, this private investor, you have him, and then he had his attorney, and then there has to be a seller's realtor when it's an REO. So for him to even go see the property, I had to call the attorney. Now, first I have to call, you know, my student, and then she had to call the attorney. The attorney had to call the realtor. That realtor had to call the other realtor, and that realtor had to call the homeowner just to get everybody on page to go take a look at the property. So it was like so many people involved, and mind you, I'm on pins and needles because this is like one of my first deal. So we have to go through all these people. I mean, this probably is going to be the most, I'm thinking this is probably the most complicated deal ever, but it came through. Like, I think the bottom line was the buyer agreed at 275 and the seller agreed at 260. And I think as long as we hold those two numbers, it don't matter how many people are in between. Now I'm in between also, and Mary's in between also. So all these people were involved, and you know, as long as we hold those two buying and selling numbers, it doesn't matter how many people were in between. It happened. You know, the attorney made it happen. And the funny thing is, the attorney who you know, he works basically REO properties, and those guys don't really understand assignment fees. And so we had to walk him through the process of writing us a check for an assignment fee as well. So, and he kept telling us he's never heard of this before. He can't make this happen. And I'm like, listen, it happens every day. So I had to like stay positive and keep everyone else positive. The real estate agents were getting pissed off, you know, because they thought, you know, the girl was, you know, Mary was originally supposed to just close on the property, and it wasn't happening that way. So I just basically coached the attorney on how the process works. And it was so frustrating because here it is, my first deal. But the thing is, overall, I understood how the process works. But a lot of people just didn't, even though I haven't done deals, I just understood how the process works, and and I know that it could be done. So I had to keep everyone positive and keep the realtors were getting angry. It was just so many people involved. And even at a point, the buyer was getting angry because every time he has to go do something, he wanted to do an oil tank sweep. You know, in New Jersey, you gotta put oil in these tanks for heat. So because the winters and stuff. So he wanted to get an oil tank sweep, and that was the biggest thing for him. As long as that test came clear, he was fine with the property. And it was just he was getting frustrated because we have to go through like so many different people just to set up an appointment because we can't contact the homeowner directly.
Right.
So we had to go through all these people just to contact one person. And it was so aggravating. But it ended up, the guy wanted the property so bad and the price was good to him to the point where, and the funny thing is, like, you know, with these type of deals, you have to give all the information up front because he's assigning, you know, we're assigning him the contract. It's not like a double closing. So we have to show him all the information up front. Now he, you know, he could have easily went to the homeowner. He could have, there's so many, because I had to email him the actual contract. You know, the actual contract, which shows the numbers that we had it under contract for 260. So I was afraid of that, but that was part of the situation. I had to email it to his attorney. But at the end of the day, he liked it, and now he's asking me for more deals.
Cool, man. Hey, I want to say congrats, and I want to say well done, dude. So
Thanks,
now, Peter, just so are you in a state that it's operated by attorney, not title or not title company? Are you an attorney state or?
That I wouldn't. I know it's judicial here.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but like I don't really know. All I know is you know, if you have a good attorney, they should be closing it properly. But I don't know that.
Cool. Okay. Hey, not a problem at all. So now, Peter, you know, I really want to ask the question is that when did you start, you know, when did you really start, you know, figuring out getting into the wholesaling business?
Mm-hmm.
How long ago would you initially really start researching and learning the business?
All right. Well, when I was, you know, like 21, 22, I used to do mortgages. And one time I refinanced this one property for this one guy, and he ended up having a bunch of properties. And so because I refinanced one of his properties, he went ahead and let me refinance all his properties. So that's when I was like, wait, how many properties do you own? And then when he started telling me all the numbers he makes off all these properties, that's when it initially sparked my interest about maybe I should be doing this instead of doing all this paperwork over here in this mortgage company. And, you know, I'm getting paid like basically almost nothing to do so much paperwork. So I had to do all his properties for him and refi all his properties. And, you know, based on the numbers he was making and the numbers I was making, it just was like, man, I'm on the wrong side of the fence. Maybe I should start learning about this wholesaling stuff. And so I got interested in it. And then I started watching YouTube videos, and then I understood the A, B, C, D concept, you know, and then from there, I always felt like I was young, and my face looked young, so I wanted to like wait. I was afraid in the beginning, so I never did anything.
Gotcha. But now my question is, how long ago is that? Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
No, that was probably like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Wow. So 5 to 6 years ago, that's when you discover, or that's when you wanted to start digging into learning about wholesaling.
That's when I knew there was a concept called wholesaling out there.
Okay.
But I never took action on it, and I was like, man, what is this wholesaling thing? Like probably like 5, 6 years ago, and then but you know, I'm so busy with everything else.
Right.
And I learned about it through YouTube. I watched a few YouTube videos, but I never like actually did it until like this year. I was like, you know what? Let me start doing some marketing and let me see. It's a new year. This is gonna be the best year ever. This is like New Year's resolution. You know, every year people, you know, I'm gonna join the gym. I'm gonna join the gym. I'm gonna do a deal. I'm gonna do a lot of deals. I didn't join any gyms, but I did a deal.
Nice, man. Nice. So basically 5 or 6 years ago, all you were doing. So Peter, were you on and off with the learning? Were you on and off kind of thing? Or were you pretty consistently trying to learn that, you know, within that 5 or 6 years?
You know, when something piques your interest but you know, it's like, man, I could do that. But everything else is going on, you know, and then every time I see an infomercial, then I'm like, man, I really should be doing this. This is like, is this like a message to me? Like, should I be doing this? Like every time you turn around, there's like some infomercial, and then you feel like, man, that guy's talking to me. I should be wholesaling deals. But throughout the 5-6 years, it was just, I had my own things going on, and I never got into it. And even now, I'm still not fully into it. I just basically decided that I was gonna start marketing this year, and I'm just gonna market towards it, because my first passion is like day trading. I like stocks, and I figured, okay, since my day is done like by 11 o'clock if I'm trading stocks,
Right.
I could add something on.
Gotcha.
And just like deal with it from 11 o'clock till the next day.
Cool, man. So now you're not doing the mortgage thing anymore.
No.
So how long have you been doing the day trading?
I've been doing the day trading for like a year now.
Okay.
About a year.
Okay, so you're doing the day trading, and you're just thinking, hey, you know what? I need another stream of income, or maybe a side gig, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's when you say, hey, you know what? January, your new resolution is to actually start doing wholesale deal now instead of just more researching.
Right. I just figured, man, I got to do a deal. It's time. I got to do a deal. It's a brand new year. This is gonna be the best year ever. So I just decided I'm just gonna flood the market with ads, and that's it. I just decided, let me flood Craigslist. And I didn't want to spend any money towards it. That's why I came up with the concept. Okay, well, I already understand what wholesaling is. Why don't I just introduce the wholesaling to other people, and then they can, I tell them, go put out 200 signs out there. So I figured I could leverage those people into bringing deals, and then we split those deals 50-50. So I didn't want to spend any money, but I figured I could probably leverage people's times and money so I can bring in more deals towards myself. And basically that's how I found this young lady. She called on one of my posts about learning how to wholesale. Then and that's how it became what it became.
Gotcha. I mean, hey, nice. So Peter, could you share with everybody kind of where you're at right now? Are you, you're probably still day trading, but kind of where you're at right now with the wholesaling business?
Right now, all I'm doing is I just ordered a whole bunch of signs. I ordered a bunch of business cards. I'm planning on going to the courthouses and seeing actually how the auctions work. Now that that this deal actually happened, I'm like, okay, maybe I should shift more of my energy towards this. So now I'm actually joining up some auction sites, just learning more and more and more and more. I still don't know everything, and realistically, this deal just fell in my lap, kind of, because you can hear the story. It was already a done deal, and it just needed a buyer. So I still don't know everything, and so now I'm actually spending more time to learn everything around it, because now I'm like, man, this could be very big. This could be a big thing.
Gotcha. So now, are you feeling this more than the day trading?
I still like the day trading, just because the opportunities in the day trading. You can make 5, 10, 15 grand in like 10, 15 minutes. So,
gotcha.
But this is something that I can do both. I can do both because it doesn't require a lot of time.
Nice, man. So, Peter, could you get so you guys, Peter's in New Jersey. So for those of you who are in New Jersey, or the surrounding area, do you mind if they reach out to you, and how can they reach out to you, Peter?
My email is brutusempire@gmail.com. It's BRUTUSEMPIRE@gmail.com. Or you can reach me at, should I give out my phone number?
That's totally up to you, but I just want to warn you, is that your phone's gonna blow up.
Yeah, I just don't want a bunch of people calling if they don't have deals. Like, if you have something, I'm very good at closing, and that's why I did things the way that I did. I've been a closer all my life. Like, I'm a closer, so I know I can close most deals. If it's a deal there, I can do it, and I have that confidence. So that's why I did things the way I did. But not everybody's you know, that
Right.
way.
So Peter, is the email is the only way, or do you have do you have a YouTube channel, or do you have like Instagram, or like do you have any other social media?
I'm on Facebook. Yeah. I'm on Facebook, but nothing is geared towards like the real estate. Like
right.
I said, this is like first thing, but everything like you can reach. I'll put out my number there, 973-342-6824. But again, only contact me if you have something in the pipeline that I can help you with, because I just don't want random phone calls because I have kids and I don't want to take time away from them.
Absolutely, man. So before we get off, one last thing, Peter, is what are some tips, advice, or that you can give to people that are obviously just starting out or learning and haven't closed their first wholesale deal yet?
Just always be marketing. If you always be marketing, something eventually is going to come. That's just what I know as far as business. If you're not marketing, no one knows you're alive. No one knows you're here. So for me, like I've always, even when I was like a young kid, I everything that I've ever done is all about marketing. And so just keep marketing and marketing and marketing. Even if you don't understand the concept fully, go find an attorney. The attorney understands the concept fully, but before you bring an attorney to the table, make sure they understand the process of what you're trying to do, wholesaling. So if they've done wholesale deals, they'll be able, like in this situation, I didn't know anything. Everybody else was basically doing everything. And mind you, this deal, I never saw the property. I never left my house. I never met the buyer. I never met the seller. Everything was on my phone call, walking around with my pajamas, hanging out with my kid at home. So I never saw the property. I never met anyone. All I was doing was marketing. And a seller came to me because of my marketing, and a buyer came to me because of my marketing. And because of my positive energy and my confidence level, it all came into play. I just kept keeping everyone positive. When this guy was going negative, I turned him around. When that person's going negative, like my student, she was getting negative. She was thinking she was going to lose her money. I just kept reiterating positive thoughts, positive, stay positive, stay positive. It's going to close. And just stay positive and keep marketing. And,
nice.
That's the only two things I can say.
Nice, man. Peter, thank you so much for your time, dude. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you guys get a lot out of this. And if you guys want to blow up his phone, go ahead. He dropped his phone number. He gave you guys the email. I'll make sure I put that in the descriptions just in case you guys missed it. Peter's in New Jersey. For those of you who want to connect and reach out with him, can they do that, Peter?
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out, man. If you guys have something or just want basic knowledge, like I said, I could forward you my lead sheet. That way you know exactly what to ask, that I would need, the information that I would need in order to close the deal. I'll forward that to you. And all you do is you fill out this lead sheet, send it out, and I'll be able to help. If I can help, I'll help. And if I can't help, I'll tell you why it's not a deal. Like I understand I understand how to structure deals. That's one of my gifts. Like I know how to structure deals. It could be anything. Like it could be, I used to sell cars and I used to structure deals that way. So I used to sell everything else and I structure deals. So if it's a deal, I'll structure it and it will close. But if it's not a deal, I'll tell you why it's not a deal. So that way you can get better at finding deals.
Gotcha. Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Peter, for your time. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't be shy. Smash that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you want to learn about wholesaling houses, and we do them virtually, just like Peter mentioned, you don't see the seller, the property, and you don't need to see the buyer. Boom. You guys smash the subscribe button. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Peter.
Thanks, Khang.